Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Nozhola Sewing. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how I made this beautiful giant bow that I'll be using to accessorize a dress. If you're yet to subscribe, hit on the subscribe button so you don't miss the next tutorial. Do well to leave a thumbs up and feel free to comment and ask questions. So let's get started. So for this tutorial, I've already gone ahead to cut a piece of fabric and I've gone ahead to also iron paper stay to it. I iron paper stay so that my bow will be able to stand. The fabric measures 25 inches by 14. So that's just what I'm going to be using. So the next thing I'm just going to do is just to make some stitches with the place I'm showing you right now and leave a piece open. So I've already gone ahead to make a stitch round, and then there's an opening as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is just to cut out my excess. I'll be cutting out the excess. The opening I made is where I'll be turning out everything I have sewn from. So I'll be turning it through that opening to face the right side because this is the wrong side. So when you are turning it over to the right side, you just have to be careful so as not to tear your paper stay. So I'm just going to carefully turn it and show you guys how it looks like. This is the way it came out to be after I've turned. Then the next I'm just going to do is just to make a tiny stitch along that area where the opening is and iron. Then I have a part I'll be using for the tail of the bow. This part is about 54 inches long. So what I am left with at the width is 7 inches after I've already gone ahead to cut out the shape I want. This is totally left to you. You can make yours shorter or longer, then you can go ahead to give it any shape you desire, or you can just leave it as in like a square shape, but I want mine like this. That's why I went ahead to cut it. Another method you can use if you don't want your bow to be long is just to cut a small piece of fabric. As you can see, just a small piece will be enough, so you will just use it to hold the bow. Then you can go ahead to stitch it and turn it over, but mine, I'll be using this long piece I want because I actually want a very long tail. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave small space and stitch the edges round. So here I've already stitched out the edges. I've gone ahead to stitch round the edges and leave a space that I can be able to use to turn it to the right side. So here I have already turned it out to the right side. So the next thing I'm just going to do is just to close up that place with a tiny piece and sew. Then afterwards, this is what I'm having. I've already gone ahead to iron both the part I'll be using for my bow and the one I'll be using for the tail. So the next thing I'm just going to proceed to do is just to make tiny pleats in the middle of the squared fabric, the one that looks like a square. I'll just be making a tiny pleats around it from one end to the other, and you just have to ensure that your pleats are neat. After that was done, I just held that part firmly. At this point, you can go in with your needle and thread first before you use the tail of the bow to wrap it and sew. For mine, I did not use any needle and thread to hold it, so I am just holding it firmly, then placing the tail around it. I'm ensuring that it is in the midpoint of each. Then I went ahead to sew. So this is what it looks like after sewing. So that will be all for this tutorial. See you guys on the next one.